5:27 a.m. The sky is still dark. A pickup truck, slowly, backs into a suburban driveway. The garage door opens. A man steps out. He looks around. Not for long. Not rushed. Not panicked. Just strangely calm. He bends down, lifts something heavy, places it into the truck bed, back inside, then out again. The same steps, repeated, measured. A neighbor's security camera captures everything. No screaming, no struggle. Just what appears to be an ordinary morning. But for the Watts family, this is the final one. The man is Chris Watts. And in just a few hours, he will stand in front of cameras and say he wants his wife and daughters to come home. But when he says those words, he already knows. They are never coming back. You're watching Shadow Dossier, where we examine the moments people try to hide and the evidence that refuses to disappear. Tonight, we trace how a family didn't collapse in a single moment, but fell apart, step by step. Frederick, Colorado. A quiet suburb. Neat houses. Trimmed lawns. Streets that look like nothing ever happens. The Watts family appeared online like a happy postcard. Shanann was the kind of person who shared everything.
Hi guys, say
What's
hi
going
Bella. We gotta get you dressed, kid.
I
Look
know,
what Bella's
right?
eating. Bella's eating some of the ingredients.
She got a nice little bowl of chocolate chips.
Look at that. What is that, Bella? Can you show them? What is it? Is it chocolate?
Is it chocolate?
It's chocolate mini morsels, right?
Milestones, everyday moments, and the smiles of her two daughters. Bella and Celeste, two little girls you could tell were deeply loved just by looking at them. And then, Shanann was pregnant with their third child. A family about to feel complete. But there were stories social media didn't post. Debt. Pressure. Arguments behind closed doors. And one more thing, more important than all of it. A secret relationship was taking shape. This story doesn't happen suddenly. It's steps, cracks, a slow retreat. The Watts family's finances were always tight. A beautiful house, but the cost was just as big. A young family with a third child on the way can break anyone who's already close to the edge. Chris looked like the quiet husband. He didn't talk much. He didn't cause drama. He stayed in the background, following the plan. There's one thing. The quietest person is sometimes the one hiding the most. Summer 2018. A name begins to surface. Nickel. A coworker. A relationship that begins the way forbidden things often begin. Private conversations, messages, and outings no one knows about. Chris tells Nickel he's separated. But the truth is, he still lives at home with his wife, and Shanann is pregnant. From here, Chris starts to change. He loses weight, works out, eats differently, dresses differently. Even his eyes look different. Because the key is this: Chris begins living two lives. One life on Facebook, one life off Facebook. And those two lives cannot run side by side forever. Shanann travels for work. Chris stays home with the girls. On the outside, everything still moves forward, but inside the distance grows fast. Messages between Chris and Shanann turn tense. Sometimes it's anger, sometimes it's pleading, sometimes it's trying to fix it. But Chris isn't there anymore. He has already stepped onto another shore. And when someone has already left mentally, the family becomes a wall standing between them and the life they want. August 12th. Shanann comes home late, nearly 2 a.m. She walks into the house, not knowing it will be the last time. No cameras captures what happens in the bedroom. No witnesses, only a blank space. And then, morning. Shanann disappears. Bella disappears. Celeste disappears. The house is still there, but the laughter is gone. And we return to 5:27 a.m. Morning comes. Shanann doesn't respond. At first, it's unusual. Then it becomes alarming. Nicole Atkinson had dropped Shanann off just hours earlier. She knew her schedule. She knew about the doctor's appointment, and Shanann didn't miss appointments. Calls go unanswered. Messages stay unread. Something isn't right. Nicole drives to the house. The car's still in the garage. The purse is inside. The phone hasn't moved. This doesn't look like someone who left. It looks like someone who never had the chance to. So she makes a decision. She calls the police. And from that moment, the timeline closes in. Because if she had waited even a few more hours, everything might have been different.
How you guys doing? What's that?
Do you remember me?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
How you been?
Hi.
You Nicole?
Yes.
Okay. What's going on?
So, my friend, we were out of town for a business trip this weekend,
All right.
and I dropped her off at 2 o'clock this morning. She's 15 weeks pregnant. She wasn't feeling well, and she had a doctor's appointment this morning at 9, and I told her to let me know if she needed me to take her. She's got 2 little girls, and she was very distraught over the weekend, wasn't eating normally or drinking, and we kept trying to force it on her because she's pregnant. Her husband and her supposedly are separating, but...
Chris comes home. He seems worried, but what he does looks like someone performing worry. He paces, explains too much, says words that sound right, but feel empty.
I'm here. Hang on. Yeah, get me on the phone. Okay, get Matt on the phone.
Scott, how you doing?
How's it going?
So this was the only vehicle she would have?
Only one that, yeah.
She would drive? Okay.
That's me. Yeah. The neighbors went and checked his camera and they said that a white car drove away at 1. It was me though. That was me. I dropped her off.
That was the last action on my camera.
Okay. And that's throughout the whole day, or?
Besides Chris leaving?
Well, yeah.
What about is there any way you can look for the day? During the daytime?
What? too. So she left with the friend. She would have took the car seats.
I can go look if he doesn't find her.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Huh? Chris is in the house. We're standing outside of the police office. Can we go in the house?
We can.
I mean, that's up to him.
The rhythm matters here. Body cam footage, door opens, empty rooms, cold air. And Chris, standing in the middle.
You checked upstairs? She's not there? I just want to make sure she's not passed out somewhere. Is she diabetic? You mind if I look around?
Go ahead.
Okay, thanks.
Her phone's here? Her phone's here.
Does she work?
Yeah, she works from home.
Oh, from home?
She works, this is her lifeline. So yeah, that thing turns back on, it's gonna start.
Police go next door to Nate. They pull up the security footage. Chris stands behind them. Arms crossed, breathing fast, eyes locked on the screen.
We just have
My camera.
truck up to the truck.
Lay down.
Loaded my stuff up in my coolers, my water jugs, my book bag, my computers, some of the tools that I had from the toolbox. I knew I was gonna have to do some pumping into rubbers today. That's why I was out so far.
Is this on continually
Yep.
recording?
Yep. Well,
It's not, is it
any
motion or is it?
event-
Okay, so it's motion.
Any motion event that happens, but I get cars driving from this street, and this is him at 517.
We usually park out there on the side. I just want to get everything back in. Be easier to lug everything out there, all the tools that I had to bring in. What else can I do with this?
My detective just showed up. So he'll probably want to talk to you. He'd probably, like I said, he might have you call at the bank and see if there's any kind of activity.
Because if there is any sort of action out
On
there,
his camera, it's
I
like,
would have got it.
like
Right.
we had issues the other week when people were stealing stuff out of like garages and stuff like that. And I had parked my truck
I
up
had
here.
to park right here.
Yeah. So someone,
See if
I could
anything
see where someone tried to jimmy with a flathead screwdriver over there, and it was just like,
But if any action would have happened, any cars or anything left your house, I would
yeah,
have
if they
got
would
it.
have been like right in that area, they should have picked me.
Oh, it'll pick up anything coming down the street this way.
You know where that tree is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Watch, I'll show you. There's nothing on here. We've already watched that one. But like, you'll see this car.
The security system.
And when the truck appears, Chris changes. A swallow, a quick glance, a body that tightens. No one shouts, no one says much. But the entire room changes color. Because the camera didn't just record the driveway, it recorded Chris. And his reaction says more than words.
But I would have caught her walking out. Diesel. Yeah, I thought nothing.
Nothing for the rest of the day.
No, that's it.
She's pregnant as well.
How far along?
14, 15 weeks. That's why her friend said it was low blood sugar.
And see, I've got her friend leaving out here at 2 in the morning. So, my camera. Did you go check if anything was missing around your house?
There was nothing, but all the old blankets and the winter, her phone was still there.
She dropped her off at 1 in the morning, right?
My doorbell said 1:48. She came in.
Okay. This is her family thing at 1:48.
So as soon as it picks up motion, it like patio. Okay. I thought she.
That was the start of the video.
Yep.
1:48.
In the morning.
I didn't pick her up going into the house though.
It didn't. And I usually pick him up when he comes walking through here. I pick him up. So it doesn't show her walking into the house. The shooter walked by, leaving this on. That's funny.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gone. They see all these people coming in, they're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks.
Hopefully something comes up here.
If you just want to go talk to him, I'm going to get his info real quick. No.
Rocking back and forth, and if you look,
5:27 a.m. The truck backs up to the garage. Chris steps out. He moves like someone working down a checklist. No stumbling, no stopping, no hesitation. In, out, bend down, lift, place it in the truck. In other cases, cameras capture chaos. But here, what chills you is the calm. A morning that looks like he's simply loading up for work. But what's being carried isn't equipment. Time becomes the witness. 5:27, 5:31, 5:36. Then comes the moment that gives America chills. Chris stands on the porch, cameras pointed straight at him. He speaks like a desperate husband. If Shanann is watching, please bring the girls back. But as he speaks, his face doesn't match. A quick smile, lip licking, a slight sway. Small signals, not proof, but off.
Vanished, like she's not, like when I got home yesterday, it was like a ghost town. Like she wasn't here, kids weren't here. I have no idea like where they went. And it's just earth shattering. I don't feel like this is even.
For viewers, it becomes one thought. Something is wrong. From that moment, the investigation accelerates. Police don't need Chris to confess immediately. They need cross-checks. Time, movement, phones, statements. And every time Chris speaks, something doesn't align. He tries to build a story. Shanann left on her own, or someone took her. But her things are still there. Phone, keys, purse. The things people don't leave behind when they walk away. And Shanann's silence doesn't look like her. Chris is forced to talk more, explain more, and the more he talks, the more he shows. Then, police make a decisive move. They bring in Chris's father, Ronnie. A father walks into the interrogation room, hoping to hear his son say, "I didn't do it." But there's no room for hope in that room. Chris looks at his father. He starts to cry. And then he throws out another story. He says Shanann hurt the children. A story that is desperate and cruel, as if he needs an exit. But that exit lasts only minutes, because next, he collapses. And in front of his father, he confesses. This is the emotional peak. No heavy music needed, just silence. A father hearing the impossible. A son knowing he has no way out. At the same time, Nicole becomes a major piece. She cooperates with police. Messages, schedules, calls. Nicole says she didn't know the plan. Police do not charge her, but to the public, her name stays tied to the question. How much did she know? How much did she believe?
And what did Chris lie to her about? In this step-by-step collapse, Nicole represents the new life Chris wanted. The thing that made him believe, if he removed his family, he would be free. 5:27 a.m. The truck leaves the driveway. According to Chris's final prison interview in 2019, both girls were still alive when they were placed in the vehicle. Shanann's body was in the back. The girls were in the cabin. A drive that lasted nearly an hour toward the oil site where Chris worked. Silence. No music. Just the sound of the engine. According to his confession, during that drive, the girls were sitting in the front. One of them spoke. One of them began to understand that something was wrong. When the act took place on the truck and later at the site, Chris said Bella looked at him and said, "Daddy, no." That was not in the bedroom, not earlier in the night, but in the moment she realized what was happening. He said he stopped, for a few seconds, a pause inside the cab of that truck.
He is a hero. He helps me grow up strong. He helped me snuggle too. He reads me books. He ties my shoes. If you're a hero, blue and blue, my daddy is love you. Oh, I love.
But then, he continued. There was no one there to intervene, no one to witness it. Only an empty road and the decision already made. The truck arrived at the oil field, a remote location, far from residential areas, surrounded by large industrial oil tanks. According to his final confession, everything ended there. When confronted with GPS data and evidence, Chris led investigators back to the site. Shanann was found in a shallow grave near the oil tanks, recently disturbed soil, poorly concealed. The two girls were discovered inside the industrial oil tanks on the property. The medical examiner confirmed the cause of death for Shanann, Bella, and Celeste was manual strangulation, not an accident, not a momentary outburst, a deliberate act. Shanann was 15 weeks pregnant, a baby boy. His name was Nico. Chris had once said he wanted a son, yet when he pressed down on Shanann that night, he did not think about the child she was carrying. Legally, the case records 3 homicide victims, but in reality, there were 4. Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and Nico. 4 lives ended in one chain of decisions.
We did it again. I like that shirt. Really?
Really?
That's awesome. So pink means,
That's just the test.
I know, it just says the pink is going to be girls.
I don't know. Just the test.
That's awesome. Guess when you want to, it happens.
November 2018, Chris Watts stood in court. There was no lengthy trial, no jury debate, no dramatic defense. He pleaded guilty. 3 counts of first-degree murder, 2 additional counts related to the deaths of his children, and other charges connected to the disposal of the bodies. In exchange, prosecutors removed the death penalty from the table. According to court records, Shanann's family agreed to the plea. They did not want years of appeals. They did not want to relive every detail publicly. The sentence? 5 life terms in prison. No possibility of parole. No release date. No second chance. He avoided execution, but he will never escape 527. 5:27 a.m. The camera didn't know what it was recording. It simply captured a man preparing for work. No screaming, no panic, just calm. And that calm was the most disturbing part. A family does not collapse in a single moment. It erodes through distance, through secrecy, through decisions made in silence, until there is no way back. 4 lives, 1 morning, and a camera that never forgets. You're watching Shadow Dossier, where the smallest details reveal the darkest truths, and where silence often speaks louder than confession.